In this tutorial, we'll show you how to incorporate subscriptions into approval workflows to orchestrate consistent change across applications in Enterprise Data Management Cloud. This entity maintenance view has 3 viewpoints. The view provides a central location to manage and share entity dimension data across 3 separate applications. Inspect the Corporate GL viewpoint. An approval policy has already been enabled for the corporate company dimension in the Financials Cloud application. The approval method is parallel. There are 3 approvers for this policy, and 2 approvals are required. Inspect the Financial Consolidation viewpoint. An approval policy has already been enabled for the entity dimension in the Financial Consolidation and Close application. The approval method is serial. There are 3 approvers for this policy, and 3 approvals are required. Inspect the Planning and Budgeting viewpoint. An approval policy has already been enabled for the entity dimension in the Corporate Planning application. The approval method is parallel. There are 3 approvers for this policy, and 3 approvals are required. At this point, you have 3 enabled approval policies for 3 dimensions in 3 separate applications. There are also existing subscriptions for the Financial Consolidation viewpoint and the Planning and Budgeting viewpoint. Both subscriptions use Corporate GL as the source viewpoint and have the request assignee set to Denise Adams. Let's create and submit a request to illustrate how subscriptions are incorporated into the approval process. Recall that there are 3 approvers for the approval policy for this dimension. The approval method is parallel, and 2 approvers must approve the request. When you submit the request, the system sends an approval invitation to all 3 approvers. Let's assume that the 2 required approvers have reviewed and approved the initial request. If you navigate to Request Activity, the request status equals completed, stage equals closed, and Carol last modified the request. Inspect the request to view the approval workflow. All approvals for the request are completed. Now let's look at the subscription workflow. The system committed the original request when the approvers approved the changes in the source viewpoint and generated a new request from the submitted request. The subscription assignee, Denise, receives an email notification with the request details. The email identifies the original request, the source view, the source viewpoints, the target viewpoints, the status, and so forth. To navigate to the request, you can either click the request link in the email or sign in and click Draft Requests on the home page. Because a subscription generated this request, notice that the request description displays generated from the submitted request, Add New Entity. Select the request to open the request in the view where it was submitted. In this example, a validation issue indicates that the node added to a list viewpoint in the Corporate GL application does not have a specified parent in the Financial Consolidation viewpoint. Let's address this issue for the request item by changing the parent. Modify the subscription request further if necessary. Repeat the steps for the request item in the Planning and Budgeting viewpoint. Add comments or attachments if desired. Submit the request. Once the subscriber assignee, Denise, submits the request, assigned approvers receive email notifications and a notice on the home screen to approve the request in the target viewpoints. If you navigate to the request, you can see that Denise last modified the request. Alex, Amy, and Anita receive notification to approve changes to the entity dimension in the Financial Consolidation viewpoint. George, Harold, and Henry receive notification to approve changes to the entity dimension in the Planning and Budgeting viewpoint. Let's assume that these approvers complete the approval process for their respective requests. If you navigate to Request Activity and inspect the request, you can see that all approvals for the request were completed. Denise receives an email notifying her that the request she submitted as a subscriber has been approved. The email includes the details of the approval workflow, such as the number of request items, the viewpoints, approvers, and so forth. In this tutorial, you saw how to incorporate subscriptions into approval workflows to orchestrate consistent change across applications in Enterprise Data Management Cloud. To learn more, visit cloud.oracle.com.